Good Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to GardenStateWeather.com and GardenStateWeather.blogspot.com, providing superior forecasting for the northern mid-Atlantic 24 hours a day. I'm forecaster Robert Smith with the daily video forecast discussion for this absolutely stellar Wednesday. Another fine Wednesday again. Almost every single Wednesday this summer has been spectacular, and this one is no exception. This is the video forecast discussion for the 26th of August, 2015. Getting up and getting going this morning. It's beautiful out there. Crystal clear skies, just a few scattered clouds around in certain locations. Most areas are absolutely clear this morning, with temperatures have bottomed out into the low 50s across interior northwestern New Jersey and into the upper 50s and low 60s just about everywhere else. The dew points are in the low 50s throughout the region, and the winds are light or calm, basically out of the northwest, or calm at speeds at less than 10 miles per hour. Just absolutely gorgeous out. Satellite view this morning over the New Jersey, New York, Philadelphia area. Absolutely clear skies. Few scattered clouds around just to our west and south. Is our dry tongue right over the top of us here on the water vapor channel. This is a little bit of lifting that's shearing out around the spoke of the southbound spoke of this upper low across southern New England, southern Canada rather. And basically high pressure is in control, and we have absolutely no precipitation in the region, and none is expected. Surface chart from WeatherRoanoke.com and Digital Atmosphere software shows the cold front now well off the coast and high pressure building in across the forecast region. And we have no land, air, or sea advisories, and we'll take a look at the aviational deck right now. Everything is looking good out there right now. We have basically VFR conditions across the entire area of terminals here. Some stratocumulus deck with ceilings around 7,000 feet moving into eastern Pennsylvania early this morning, shearing out during the day. Light northwest winds under 10 knots this morning, becoming westerly at around 10 this afternoon, mainly northerly at around 5 knots tonight. Backing a flow should prevent sea breeze front from moving very far inland today, so keep the sea breeze out of Atlantic City, but it will be very close. The outlook for Thursday and right now through Saturday night, VFR conditions, patchy fog possible during the pre-dawn hours, but otherwise basically VFR. Sun day will be mostly VFR. Showers are possible with some lowering conditions, but right now it's just absolutely gorgeous. If you have this week off, this is spectacular. It's almost like September weather out there. Temperature right now in Newark 68, dew point 54, humidity 61%, wind northwest at 3, few clouds at 9,000, VFR conditions in place. Philadelphia gorgeous 69, dew point 51, humidity 53%, northwest wind at 7, broken ceilings at 8,000, VFR conditions in place. Another perfect day to go to the beach today for the beaches of New York City and Long Island. Basically, there is a low threat of rip currents today. However, never swim alone. Always swim with a flotation device in lifeguarded areas, and never swim near piers and jetties. No threat of lightning today. Surf height around 3 feet. UVI index is high. Sunscreen a must. Water temperatures upper 70s. Sunshine today. High temperatures around 80. Northwest winds at around 10. Becoming west in the afternoon. The next high tide at East Rockaway Inlet will be at 5:34 this evening. And for the New Jersey and Delaware beaches today, sunshine. Temperatures lower 80s, northwest winds at around 5 in the morning, becoming southwesterly at around 10 in the afternoon. Surf height around 3 feet. Surf temperatures in the mid-70s. UVI index high at 8. Moderate risk of rip currents along the New Jersey beaches, so do be careful out there. Lightning threat none today. And the next high tide at Belmar will be at about 5:04 this evening. And with the antecedent dryness in the air, we have ragweed, nettles, and chenopod predominating, so the pollen counts today are very high, and they're going to remain that way right through the weekend, so you're going to need your medication. I'm on mine. And with this super fine summer weather continuing right through the weekend, the UVI index is going to be high, so you're going to need sunscreen. And here's the latest on tropical activity here in the Atlantic and Caribbean. This is Tropical Storm Erica. As of 5 a.m. this morning, it was located around 16.1 north, 56 degrees west, about 630 kilometers east of Antigua, about 390 miles just to the east of Antigua. Maximum sustained winds are around 40 miles per hour. Present movement is to the west at about 18 miles an hour. The minimum central pressure is now down to 29.62 inches. Now, we do have some new tropical storm warnings in effect for the U.S. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Vizcaya, and Culebra. And right now we have these warnings in effect for Anguilla, St. Martin, St. Estuas, Montserrat, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, Puerto Rico, Culebra, the U.S. Virgin Islands and British Virgin Islands. The tropical storm watch is in effect for Guadeloupe, St. Martin, and St. Bartholomew. and I'm not pronouncing these names right this morning. I haven't had enough coffee yet. This is where the models are generally showing the consensus of the track here. People across southeastern United States and eventually parts of probably southeastern United States from Florida up to the Carolinas will have to be monitoring this storm system early next week. As high pressure builds over the top, this thing could begin to strengthen with less shear and less dry air in place, water temperatures which would be much more conducive for the further enhancement and development of this storm across this area. So we're going to take a look at this in just a moment. And this is the latest National Hurricane Center's cone here, where we see the tropical storm developing and continuing to move a path across Puerto Rico here, or just to the north of the islands here in this chain. So we're going to have to monitor that north of Dominican Republic, and then strengthening still or remaining a subtropical storm as it gets towards the Bahamas here, and then perhaps even southern Florida or the island chains off of Florida, South Florida's coast here by 2 a.m. on Monday. Where it goes after that, the model guidance is differentiating between moving it toward the coast and other model consensus veering it out to sea. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. A review of all the models here. Keep the storm with the black line here is the consensus. So we could be dealing with a storm that could impact Florida or parts of the South Atlantic coastline here, the southeastern states, by early next week, and we'll be monitoring. The GFS ensembles continue to move this storm and strengthen it with a hit that could affect southern Florida and then eventually veer out towards and off the Atlantic coastline south of the Cape Hatteras area in South Carolina, and continuing to deepen rapidly as it moves out into the open Atlantic. And this is the consensus from the GFS ensembles right through early next week. So we're going to really have to keep a close monitor on this. If you're in vacation spots down in this area, we're going to continue to monitor this for you. Surface forecast charts from the Weather Prediction Center. Just gorgeous weather with this front moving offshore and further away from the area. It's just nothing but high and dry. High pressure in control of our forecast region. We are in a deficit of rainfall here in the northern mid-Atlantic region, and we're going to continue to be so right throughout the weekend as high pressure continues to build in. And basically we're looking for the high to park itself across the northern mid-Atlantic coast states right through the weekend. And that means absolutely beautiful weather, dry conditions, but you'll notice an increase as the winds turn around to the southwest. The humidity levels and dew points will be on the rise from Saturday right into early next week. But generally dry conditions, a weak trough passing through perhaps on Monday, touching off an isolated shower, perhaps maybe nothing, just some cloud cover, and just high pressure in control through early next week. So really absolutely stellar weather if you're not looking for any precipitation at all. Of course, if you're looking for warm weather, you've got it. The next 6 to 10 days above normal across the central plains all the way to the east coast. Precipitation will be below normal for this time of the year, and we do need it. 8 to 14 days above normal heights across the upper Midwest into the eastern United States, and near normal to below normal precipitation. Want to take a look at the 500 millibar pattern forecasted from the European model guidance. This is as of late last night. With a high building over the top of us, this is what the model wants to do with Erica. It wants to take Erica along the southern coastlines here of Florida and then inland and then return it, basically wobbling back toward and off the coast here, and then retreating it back again across Florida's peninsula once again, and then back to the other side into the Gulf by early next week, and this would be by next Saturday, the 5th of September. So with high pressure building in control and this block across our region, we could be dealing with a tropical storm that goes forward and then backward across Florida with a tremendous amount of water, and we're going to be monitoring this situation. That's why we have to monitor it. The GFS wants to do the same thing, but it wants to take it into the Gulf as a weaker storm system by early next week. And you can see this here across Florida's peninsula and then back into the Gulf, and then just remaining in that area for several days right through the middle part of next week. And eventually, well, it gets caught up in the flow as another trough begins to push in from the western United States, and then eventually it takes the low and moves it north, but over a slow process here where it could be dumping copious amounts of rain. It does look a little bit weaker on the GFS as a tropical depression or just an area of low pressure at that time. So could be dealing with a prolonged period of wet weather here for southern Florida and parts of the southeastern United States if this holds true, and none of the guidance here is really going to get this right, as the upper air pattern needs to lock into place first. And the GFS maps into motion. Well, we've got high pressure in control. Well, let's start this again. High pressure is in control, basically, and will remain in control of our weather right into the weekend and early next week. There could be some light scattered shower activity. This is probably overdone on the GFS. It doesn't show up in any of the other model guidance. And dry conditions right through the weekend into early next week. A noticeable increase in humidity values by later this weekend into early next week, with more high pressure just dominating and building over the top. We could be in for an extended period of precipitation-free dry air across the region for the middle and later part of next week too. So we'll be monitoring everything, and you take care and enjoy this beautiful weather outside. For everything live, it's GardenStateWeather.com, GardenStateWeather.blogspot.com, Twitter, Facebook, and Google+. I'm forecaster Robert Smith. Have a spectacular Wednesday.